Hello guys, welcome to Grounded Roots Healing. My name is Jason and I am a shaman, spiritual teacher, husband, father, YouTube content creator, low production YouTube content creator, low production value. And I've been watching Ancient Apocalypse on Netflix with Graham Hancock. It's a really good show. I've watched it the last season and I've been watching this season, and I've been watching it with a new set of eyes because I've started this shamanism journey, understanding what it is, learning how to do it, and relearning how to do it, let's say. So I have been a shaman in many lives, or whatever you would call it. We call them priests, shamans. The train just happened to show up here. And like I said, I was watching Graham Hancock's show, and it was an episode where he was talking about shamanism in general, and it was in regards to Brazil, the Amazon, and a lot of the things that you see that are common amongst societies all over North America and frankly all over the world. And he happened to notice like geometric patterns that you see, and they're ubiquitous. They show up everywhere, the same patterns all over the world. You see statues with people with their hand positions across the navel in this particular position. Remember that one. You see various things, and they all seem to point to, in his opinion, a society that traveled around after the last end of the Ice Age, and when they lost their a more advanced society, and they wanted to restart humanity, and they gave them a lot of these techniques. Now that posture that I was referring to, that's called the bear posture. In shamanism, it's a posture that we use. In fact, it's the posture we used in my last shamanic journey. What Graham's talking about, and it is ubiquitous, it shows up all over the world, this exact same posture. And it's because it's a method that we use to travel to a specific part in a specific place in the spirit world. Now, how did this happen? How did everybody end up finding the same posture? Why do they all see the same geometric patterns? Okay. So in his opinion, it's call it Atlantis, call it Lemuria, but there was continents and people with advanced technology that lost this technology. Their societies collapsed, and they spread out around the earth, showing various groups of humans how to do a lot of this stuff and giving this technology to them. So what shamanism is it's a type of spiritual technology. There's various postures and hand positions and ways to go to the spirit world and bring things back with you. The thing about all of this is that these advanced cultures knew that this is where all the answers are. So, yes, they showed them how to do advanced mathematics. They showed them a lot of things like agriculture and different types of technology to use on this 3D plane. But they also showed them the most important technology possible, which is how to access these dimensions. Because this is where all the information is. This is where all the healing techniques are. This is where anything you want to know is accessible. So it was exceedingly important for these restarters of society and restarters of humanity to show them the most important spiritual technology that you can have. And that's shamanism. We call it shamanism. But to the Atlanteans, this was where all the information is. So they thought it quite important. So they showed, depending on what was available in each part of the world, like in the Amazon, ayahuasca was available. So this was a way to advance this system and to access higher planes easier. And the blue lotus flower in Egypt and anywhere where there was plant medicines, we call them now, were available, they were shown to the indigenous groups as a way to access these planes and these realms. Now, it wasn't supposed to stop there. You were supposed to take this information and bring it back with you. And the Atlanteans and Lemurians, they were advanced users of this information. They had figured out advanced mathematics. They had understood crystal vibrations and were able to, let's say, arrange and pull information from the astral and apply it down here. So they became able to institute technologies that we just don't have access to anymore. They're there. They're in the astral plane. We don't have access to them. Or we don't take this seriously enough in order to be able to figure out what they were doing. So they would orient specific crystals, and they understood vibrations. They were masters of vibration and geometry. And they had devices where they could soften rocks. They could remove molecules from substances to make them lighter. And then put them back once they were in place. You can see what kinds of things they'd be able to do. Very, very heavy stones would become light. Things like this. You could cut things because you could remove molecules from an object. And it become very soft, pliable. This is how they built all these amazing pyramids, and especially in Peru, some of these polygonal walls, they were able to essentially melt the stones together. So this is all spiritual technology, and it's all is possible. And we're supposed to find it through shamanism. So when I was in Morocco, I'll try to splice in the pictures that I took. So I went to a museum. First of all, I went to an ancient site where there are cyclopean walls. And the energy in this place was incredible. They have ancient sites here that have been inhabited since time immemorial. And when I was there on a work trip, so on my way home, we flew out of Rabat, and there's a museum there, and I had a day. So I went into the archaeological museum they have in Rabat. And the two photos I'll show you, they're from the agriculture has obviously been invented at that point, but the first image, you can see a gentleman standing there. Gentleman, lady, I'm not sure, but it's a human. They are wearing a tunic, they have a hat, you can see the facial features and the feet. He's holding a sai or a staff or something for working the land, and it looks like he has a piece of wheat in his right hand. Now you'll notice above the head, there's a giant flower. It looks a lot like this, which is a poppy. My daughter said she thought it looked more like a lotus flower. Now this is a giant flower on the top of its head. And I asked someone about what they thought this was, and they don't really have an answer. I mean, apparently people like to wear giant flowers on their head. I don't think that's what it means. I believe that they were imbibing certain substances and to go on shamanic journeys. So it looked like an opening out of the top of the head, and this flower was causing this opening. This is my interpretation of this carved stone Neolithic, post-Neolithic. I don't know what we call a mural, right? It's pretty crude, but you can make all of this out. Now, the next stone that I'll show you is from the same exact period. And the first thing you notice, they were obviously able to carve roughly accurate humanoid people. They had facial features and the whole thing. You can see from the first image that it's a human. This second image does not look human to me. I'll let you decide what it looks like, but I immediately noticed that it looked, let's say, alien to this world. And surrounded by this being in the center, this relief carving with two bulbous eyes and a large head, hairless head. There are the geometric patterns that a lot of people see when they go on these shamanic journeys, especially if you're imbibing psychedelic substances or plant medicines. And this happens all around the world. This was sitting in a museum that looks, it's depicting a shamanic journey, in my opinion, without a doubt. And my point is, this exact same things keep popping up all over the world. This navel posture, or the bear posture as we refer to it in shamanism, above the navel, it's in Göbekli Tepe, as well as everywhere else that you go. This posture, especially in North America and South America, this posture is very well known, and it's to travel to the middle world. It's as if they were shown these postures, and it's as if these journeys are repeatable by everybody, everywhere on the planet. And like I said, this is why. Now, if you were to see a being like that on that scribe, let's say an alien, well, what is an alien? I've seen these, and they all they are is a higher vibrational entity. That's it. Like everything else is. Your ancestor, angels, everything else, including extraterrestrials, are just higher vibrational beings. They're vibrating in a high frequency. And when you go on a shamanic journey, what you're doing is raising your frequency and traveling to these places. Well, these beings are just naturally higher, and they have societies, and we have all incarnated into those avatars, because like I said before, that's all this is. This body is just an avatar. We are all high vibing souls, or high vibing entities who can travel these astral planes. And then we wake up in these avatars and we have these experiences. Well, what's to stop you from doing it in a different avatar on a different planet? And the answer is nothing. We've all done this. So, in my opinion, those 2 tablets depict a shamanic journey in which this person consumed probably blue lotus flowers and or some other sort of psychedelic substance, and encountered what we would describe as an alien. And it seemed extremely obvious to me that that's exactly what's depicted on those 2 tablets. I mean, why would you draw the humanoid like that when you can clearly do something that looks like an actual human? So, I think that's where I'll leave it. I am a firm believer that the future of humanity is going to depend on shamanism. You can call it shamanism, you can call it spiritual technology, you can call it exploring the astral plane. But I do know that most of the information as far as what more advanced societies on this planet knew, especially in regards to healing and, like I described earlier, different ways to manipulate energy and molecular manipulation down here, it can all be done with geometrics and energy and crystal orientation and things like this. And it's been kept from us. And the reason, well, that's a long story, but I also know that reason, but sounds a bit crazy. But I don't know if you're watching this and you believe any of this stuff. I mean, come on, right? This is all getting pretty crazy, and I never would have thought that I would believe any of this stuff. And it's not about belief anymore. It's about seeing it. So I think I'll leave it there. Hopefully I can figure out how to splice these photos that I've taken from the museum into this video. Yes, so like I always say, I hope this video finds you well. I love you all, and we'll see you tomorrow.